Yes, we got it right this time. Unc, if you in the building, end of season 4. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. We got a sick nephew, we got a healthy Unc. Super Bowl Sunday. Let's go.
Look,
How you
look,
doing, man?
look, look, looking at my Gucci. It's about that time. I'm telling you, it's Super Bowl
Hey.
Sunday. I'm amped. Got the nephews, my literal nephews coming over to watch the game with them tonight, right? 12 and
Mhm.
13. Going to introduce them to Super Bowl culture, introduce them to the NFL a little bit, a couple times earlier this season, right? So this will be the natural conclusion of all that. So, yeah, we got a lunch guest coming in. I mean, it's a busy day over here at the household, and yeah, man, I don't even know when I'm gonna get around to tailgating this stuff. I mean, shoot, I'm on uncle duty, right? I have to be doing all that stuff on the down low. I'm still working
For
on that plan.
sure. We got Unc being a real Unc. We got the nephew resting and relaxing, trying to recover from this cold. By the way, shout out to
Hmm.
us in Canada, Southern Ontario. We've been getting hit with the cold for real. So, hey, bundle up, y'all. Bundle up. I'm learning the hard way. Straight
Well,
up, straight up.
I've
Yeah.
actually come to the conclusion. I've actually come to the conclusion that I actually kind of prefer it in icebox mode, if for no other reason, because of all the snow we've been getting. I actually kind of prefer it in
Mm,
icebox mode because it means that like driving around, walking around, everything like that is just so much easier because the snow is dry and crunchy. I've come to the
mm,
conclusion that this +5 to -5 range that often happens around here, I'm sick of it. Turns everything to slush. It
mm.
vacillates between ice and
Yeah,
and slush, right, day to day. And it's like I've decided that I'm just sick of all that. I would prefer just like stay like ice cold, like a
yeah.
freezer, and then just flip the switch on March 15th.
Hey, man. Hopefully the switch flips soon, man. Because let me tell you
Mhm.
this. The switch has been flipped because we are in Super Bowl mode. But before we get to our preview and what our thoughts about this soon coming, the biggest game of the
Mhm.
year, let's talk about some awards, man. Let's talk
Right
about
on.
some awards and some award winners, man.
Sure enough.
Namely and majorly the MVP award that went to Matt Stafford. And me and Unc a few weeks ago, we're talking about it. Our preview, Unc had Drake May, I had Stafford. And it
Hmm.
seems like we were both, in a sense, correct because this was one of the closest uh, MVP type of votes. They were
And they
separated.
went 1-2.
And let me tell you this was the closest since they said 2003. And in 2003, I think there was a co MVP. It was Peyton Manning.
Right.
And yeah. So, in other words, if one dude did not vote for Justin Herbert, yes, you heard it right. Somebody voted for Justin Herbert. If they didn't vote for Justin Herbert, we could have had a co-MVP situation. That's happened before.
Right.
But
Right.
they decided to give it to Matt Stafford. I'm biased. I like Stafford. So, Unc, what were your thoughts? Quick takes on this.
Well, I can't really argue with all of this. Old Matty Stafford, old man River, whatever you want to call him, right?
Mhm.
He put up 47 touchdowns, man. That's a big old number. And 4,700 plus yards, right? So those are big numbers. May did not equal out those numbers. So I think, and also too, just the veteran. I think out of deference, I believe they gave Stafford that award for that reason. And I'm pretty sure they're saying that old Mr. May has a bright future in front of him, and he'll certainly collect many more MVPs if he continues to play the way he has. So
Mm,
yeah, I can't really argue with it, right? It was a coin flip for me to begin with, right? But
true.
yeah, but they gave it to old Mr. Stafford. I've
Mhm.
got a list here. Just save your voice here. I'll run through
Yes.
the topic, award by award, and give you my thoughts on it.
Mm.
If you feel a need to interrupt or interject something, right? Just like let me know, right? But I'm going to work on the assumption that you're going to keep your vocal cords
Yes,
intact over
sir.
the weekend, right? Won't be able to ask your
Likewise.
mom for you won't be able to ask your mom for seconds of anything if you got no voice. But yeah, man, like defensive player of the year. I don't believe anybody's surprised. We both indicated that we thought Myles Garrett would get that for establishing that 23 sacks, that new standard. Um,
Mhm.
and he also had 33 other tackles for loss, right? So
Oh.
that's pretty impressive, right? And this
Mm.
is the big thing about old Myles Garrett. Why, you just got to love him. He
Mhm.
faced double teams
Oh.
40% of the time. and he still put up those numbers, right?
Wow.
Like that's not even
Wow.
fair. That's not even
Mm,
fair.
crazy.
And he did it on Cleveland, right? Like, oof, like wow.
Yeah.
For the rookie of the year, this was one I certainly agreed with, and one I saw coming. And I think we might have even we'd have to check out the first podcast of the year. But if we did
Mm,
predictions, I'm pretty sure this would have been on the list of candidates.
right.
Was Teteroa McMillan, who had a bit of a slow start. Fantasy owners were a bit frustrated with him at the beginning of the year because he wasn't really producing in
Mm,
the way that they thought they would. Part of that was a function of Bryce Young, but they got that fixed. And so he finished up the year with 70 receptions on 122 targets, so healthy targets. Got
mm,
over 1,000 yards as a rookie, right? So impressive. And
mm,
7 touchdowns. So pretty productive,
mm.
especially given the fact that he, had that slow start as we indicated. But anybody with over 6 or 7 touchdowns and 1,000 yards is considered to be, an X receiver on every team. So
Mhm. He
impressive,
really showed
impressive.
out. I think he was clearly the best receiver, and he helped Bryce Young improve. So Bryce Young's
Big
improvement
time.
was actually having a solid weapon. I think he has a bright future. He gives me
Mhm.
Puka vibes because he is also Polynesian, but dude can ball, man. He's a baller, low key.
Yeah, he gives me more. What was his name in the 2000s? The former Hurricane. I think it was Andre Johnson. I think it was.
Oh, yeah, he's big body for sure.
Like he's a
Andre
big
Johnson.
body. He's a big
Yeah.
body. He's the kind of guy that makes cornerbacks just like frustrated. Like I can't deal with this guy. He's like 6'4", 240. That's and a lot of cornerbacks are 5'10", 5'11", quick and but it's usually the safety who's sort of big and burly, right? And so those cornerbacks are up against it when they get a big old load like Ted McMillan coming at them these days. The
Yeah.
comeback player of the year was really inspiring to
Yes,
see
sir.
Christian McCaffrey, CMC. The man had
Mhm,
over 2,100 yards from scrimmage this year. That is impressive,
mhm.
very
Yes,
impressive.
it is.
He played
Yes, it
all
is.
19 games, 17 TDs, over 400 touches. Like
Yes.
that's impressive. That is very, very impressive. And so the good on him. I didn't realize he managed to put up that much type of stats. I did notice that he played all 19 games this year, which if you heard me
Yeah.
earlier on in the year, I had him on injury watch like week to week to week, saying it's just a matter of time, especially the way injuries were tearing up fantasy
Oh
the
my
first
God. The
month.
thing about the Niners, did you hear that conspiracy, man? Apparently they're right next to some radiation lab or whatever, place that messes up people's bones. And hey, man, we're learning conspiracy theories sometimes are correct.
Is
Epstein and all that.
it,
I
is,
just
the,
think
the,
there's
the,
something going on with this training staff in the Niners. Why are they
was,
always hurt?
is it the
So
same
I'm proud of
radiation?
Christian McCaffrey for actually going a full season, and he was their entire offense. Real talk, he was their the
Yeah,
whole offense.
yeah. On that team where
Mm.
so many people got injured, that
Oh,
CMC was not one of them was definitely a surprise. So yeah, comeback player of the year, coach of the year, Mr. Mike Vrabel. Now, remember when we
yeah.
were first talking about him about a month ago, and I was like, isn't he part of the Patriots tree and all that stuff? I finally figured out what the connection was. He was on three. He's got 3 rings as a Pats like offensive lineman. Like he's one of those guys that I think
Oh, I think
Belichick.
maybe I think he was a linebacker. No, was
Was
he?
he a
No, he
linebacker?
played. I think he played defense. Yeah, he was a
Oh, okay.
linebacker
Because I thought he
for
was one of
New
those.
England. He won 3 rings. 3 rings with
I
them. Yeah.
thought he was one of those guys who caught like when Belichick was starting to do that thing where he would throw touchdown passes, red zone passes to unexpected. He would have linemen register as
Yeah.
eligible to receive. I thought he was one of
Mhm.
those guys, like one of those night.
So, an interesting fact about Mike Vrabel: he's had 12 catches in his NFL career. They're all
There you
touchdowns.
go. There you
All of
go.
them are touchdowns.
I knew him from something in particular, and that's what it
Yeah.
is. So yeah,
Mhm.
he's got 3 rings. So that should be
Yeah.
noted in today's game. And 3 rings out of that Patriots culture. So he was connected with it, but he wasn't a coach. He was a player. So right. And everything I've learned about Mike Vrabel over the last month, over these playoffs, I've watched him addressing his team and things like that. really, really impresses me. I think Mike Vrabel is an outstanding Bills coach. And I think he absolutely deserves Coach of the Year, given how quickly he's turned around this franchise. He's one of the few guys to get 14 wins. Like, I think, like it was outstanding. He went like 14 for 17 this season. And now, also, some of the like guys like Stephon Diggs, serious veterans like that, are singing his praises, saying it's the best coach he's ever had. So that's mighty impressive to me. And
I would say if he was to win a ring, this would be one of the greatest coaching jobs ever. To turn around a franchise that was
ever. If he pulls this out of the bag today, and he is to me the biggest X factor. We'll get into that later, but to me, he's the biggest X factor on that Pats team today. It's Vrabel, his ability to coach, his creed, his background, his resume, just everything about him is extraordinary and like a winner. So those we've talked about winners before on this podcast, man. Some people are just winners and they figure out a way to do it every time, right? And they're motivational, all that type. He gives me Dan Campbell vibes is what he gives. Is what Vrabel gives me.
100%. This is a
you know what I'm saying?
In the New England Patriots. He's basically a player coach. You know what I mean? He gets along so well with the players. Smash the like button, guys, by the way. This is the final episode of season 4. Thank you so much for showing love. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for
please and thank you. Yes, guys. It really makes a difference. We love the comments. We love the interaction, and the like and subscribe goes a long way to help us out. But yeah, that was actually one of the commentators this week. One of their comments was that Vrabel looks like he could still go out there, right? So. And he really connects with his players. And he did something that he said he learned from Kevin Stefanski, something called the 4-H approach, right? He has each player come out and tell, I forget what all the H's stand for, right? But it's like their hopes, basically their hopes, their dreams, their background, but it's 4-H letters that define it. And so he made each player stand in front of the entire locker room, the entire team, and, tell him about himself. And a lot of players said that really helped to create a culture that is unique on that team. So, hats off to Mike Vrabel for doing those things, creating culture, creating loyalty, creating admiration for you as a leader. Like, these are heavy, heavy things for coaches. And we'll see how it plays out today. The other one, pardon me?
I was just saying, yes, we'll see. We will see if he reaches that mountaintop, which he easily could. You know what I mean?
Because, because like if he pulls this off today, like, he's going to become an instant classic. Let me tell you. Now, this one's interesting. They've got a new category. They're calling it Protector of the Year. It's basically a nod to the, I guess, the offensive lineman, and the offensive lineman, because Joey Thuney from Chicago was a guard, and he got sort of moved into I guess it was left tackle. And put it this way, Caleb had 44 fewer sacks this year, mostly as a result of that guy. So they were giving it to him for his efforts. Like, he clearly made a big impact on Chicago. The defensive rookie of the year, also another Cleveland player, fascinatingly enough. Carson Schweizinger, the linebacker. This kid had like 146 tackles. Like, those are big numbers, man. And 11 tackles for loss. And he's also a leader out there as a rookie. He's like leading the linebacker offense. Yeah, like they were really talking about super intelligent guy. And wow, what about like productivity, like 146 tackles. Those are like Ray Lewis.
And I'll give the Browns this credit. Their defense was great this season. Their defense was not the problem. Their offense really was the problem. Their defense is gonna if their offense even was close to matching the D, it would be a great team. But I think this is one of the guys to help that defense, along with Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. I think, right?
Yeah, big time. Now, and of course, the offensive player of the year went to JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, almost 1,800 yards, 1,793 yards, and 10 TDs. Man, like Got to give it
Wow.
up to him, man. That's just really amazing stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
which segues us into the Hall of Fame ballots as we
Oh,
discuss
talk about
as
it.
we discuss the current guys who might be future Hall of Famers. Let's take a look at the guys they did and did not select this time
Mm,
around. The biggest
mm,
snub, of course, let's get this one out of the way, is just
talk
Bill
about it.
Belichick. Hall of Fame coach
Oh,
Bill Belichick was what was it, like at least 6 rings? I mean, he might even got some
wow.
with what's his
Mm.
face there, the
The
big tuna,
Giants,
Bill
yeah, with
Parcells. Like he might even have
Parcells, yeah.
more than did the 6 rings, right? Like he's just
Yeah.
absolute bulletproof Hall of Fame resume. And he, both him and Robert Kraft, both got like
Mm.
submarine by a spiteful Bill Polian.
Woo.
Bill Polian led the charge among owners and voters to basically punish them, wrap them on the knuckles for Spygate. Is basically what it is. They'll go in
You know
automatic.
something interesting I wanted to mention, just a little aside.
Mm.
Robert Kraft actually had been on the ballot for Hall of Fame for a long time. So this is not new, but the Bill
Oh, really?
Belichick not getting a ballot, that was
Okay.
new. Funny enough,
Okay. Oh,
Mr. Jerry Jones is in the Hall of Fame, but Robert Kraft has been denied multiple years. So this is crazy that an individual who has a chance to, I think, get his 7th ring today. That they could get
yeah.
a 7th ring. I'm not. I'm not like most people saying New England is out. The Patriots have
Yeah.
a real chance. He is
Hmm.
on the precipice of getting a 7th ring, and he can't get in the Hall of Fame. That is insanity, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So, a lot of people are kind of outraged by this. They understand what has happened, but they don't like that it has happened this way. That
Yeah.
they're going in eventually, anyways. Like, just get it out of the way because this actually creates a logjam. Because
Yes.
there are several coaches and whatnot who are sort of queued up to get into the Hall of
Mm.
Fame, who now have to wait another year for Belichick to go in, right?
True.
So there's that. Who they
Mm.
did let in though, and
Mm.
I agree with most of it. There's some of it that I still I'll just get this out of the way right away. I still don't understand why L.C. Greenwood is not in the Hall of Fame, right? As a member of that Steel Curtain Steelers, guy's got 4
Oh.
rings of his own and all that stuff, right? Like just
Yeah,
one of
tell
the
me a
most
little bit more about LC Greenwood. I didn't really know him. Yeah.
well, L.C. Greenwood was one of the great HBCU draft picks that the Steelers made in the early 70s, right? Guy
Mm.
who, only the Steelers were looking at these guys mostly, right? So him, Mean Joe Green, the 2 other guys there, Thornton, I think, is another one. And anyways, these guys were the fearsome defensive rush, the Steel Curtain,
Mm.
they called it. And they were just best of their game. The fact that he's got 4 rings and he's not in the Hall of Fame. Like the other thing about L.C.
Wow.
Greenwood too, right?
Mm.
This guy was bad. He was a bad man, right? Like this guy when almost everybody in the 70s, only
Mm.
him and Joe Namath flouted the unofficial unwritten cleat rule. Everybody wore black cleats, right? Except for white shoes, Joe Namath, right? He said, forget that, man. I'm wearing white shoes. And then, but L.C. Greenwood was the first guy to rock a yellow pair of cleats with on that Steeler, and he was the only one on the team on that Steelers team,
Mm.
right? So he was
Oh.
famous for that too. That was his brand, right? Wearing these yellow
Mm.
cleats, right? Going against the grain, and he looked bad as hell, man. Like out on that Steelers line with those yellow shoes, right? It was just one more reason that you knew they were coming, right? so
Right.
I to think that like Luke Kuechly is going in, like what
Mm.
second ballot Hall of Fame, and
Yeah, yeah.
I love me some Luke Kuechly. I think he's
Me
great.
too.
He's
Mm.
fantastic, but he played only 8 seasons, has no rings, and
Mm.
retired because of concussions, right? So couldn't hack it.
Mm.
Basically, well, that's not the politically correct way to put it these days, but
That's fine,
when
man.
I was growing up,
We keep
anybody
it
who
real here,
retired
man. We
because of
keep it real.
concussions, like, yeah,
We
they
keep it
couldn't
real here,
hang.
man.
They couldn't hang, man.
Facts.
So
Mhm.
I love Luke Kuechly, especially when I used to play in this fantasy on this fantasy league that had the IDP players, right? Individual
Mm.
defensive players. Luke Kuechly anchored. I used to pick him up on waivers all the time. Luke Kuechly used to
Yo,
anchor
Luke
my
Kuechly
IDP team.
he dominated that era of linebackers. But you're
And
right, man. It was not a long career. It's pretty
but
short. And I don't
he's
know Elsie
short,
Greenwood that
he's
way.
small,
Mm,
but he was
mm.
incredibly effective, right? Like a very
Oh, very
intelligent
effective.
player. But
Very smart.
better than LC Greenwood, who's been sitting around for like 45 years waiting for someone to call his
Mm.
name. Like, get off! Come on, man.
You know what I'm hearing these days? I'm hearing that these pro football Hall of Fame voters, there's a bit of corruption in that system, or at least the way they're doing it,
Wouldn't
it's just a
surprise
little
me.
off. You know what I mean? So you're
Mhm.
having guys like you just mentioned. I don't know him that well. LC Greenwood apparently has been waiting all this time, but Luke Kuechly just gets in right away. I don't know these
Yeah,
things.
second. I think
I don't know.
second. I think it was just a second year eligible, second year of eligibility.
Wow.
So yeah. And the other thing too is like this is like the second smallest class they've had in a lot of years. The minimum they can go with every
Oh,
year is 4, and this year was
oh,
5. So I'm not sure why they just vote more people in, right? Like, come on now, like
mm.
that's not like these guys are scrubs, right? Anyways, but who did get in though? Also was Drew Brees, right? No argument there, right? 80,000 plus yards, 571 TDs, 13 Pro Bowls, 3 seasons with 5,000 yards. He had the record of 54.76 for a few years
Wow.
before Peyton Manning beat it by 2 yards. um, he was drafted by the Chargers in 2001. I really liked him as a Charger. I thought he was a really good player. I identified him as a good player when he was a Charger. And when he
Wow.
was traded to New Orleans, I was like, okay, man, they're serious. I thought that was an outstanding trade. And you realize that
Mm.
also Drew Brees played for 20 seasons, right? Like
Wow.
his longevity record isn't really celebrated. We think of some others, we think of Brady or whatever is usually who we think of when we think of longevity, but 20 seasons, man, you got to give it up. Um,
Yeah.
but and
Wow.
I guess Philip Rivers is the other one. But
Mhm.
also 7 seasons with a 70% completion record, right?
Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Impressive. And the
Mm.
only there was a time when they said that like didn't have any MVPs. I don't think
I don't
anyway,
think
but
he ever got MVPs, but he was always in consideration. He was always because he was
right.
the reason New Orleans was always competing. You know.
He was in a remarkable time when there were a lot of really good quarterbacks in the league, right? We don't need to run them all down, but the one example that they gave, for example, one year, like he hit these metrics that 7 out of 8 other quarterbacks have hit, and they all got MVPs, right? But the whole
Wow.
problem was that Aaron Rodgers, the year that Breeze was like closest to getting an MVP, I think it was, Rodgers hit all
Mm.
the numbers too, and even better. So
Wow.
unfortunately, he was just in an extremely good quarterback class that time. But yeah,
Mm.
no, Drew Brees, absolute Hall of Famer for sure. Larry Fitzgerald, another one I heartily agree with. 17 seasons, 17,500 yards, over 1,400 catches, played a Super Bowl, drafted 3rd overall, like
Mm.
9 seasons of 1,000 yards, right? Like he was never going to lead the league in reception yards. I don't think he ever did, but like 1,400 was his peak. But the thing is, like, you have to understand, Larry Fitzgerald's like 5'11". He's not like 6'3" or 6'4" like Justin Jefferson or any of these kind of guys, right? So he's not going sky high. Larry Fitzgerald made a career over the middle. Like a lot of
Yes.
those 17,500 yards were like after the catch going over the middle, right? He certainly like he was great at doing what do you call that? Like sort of like a hook pattern, right? You know, you're going downfield and then
Oh
you
yeah,
cut across.
he was definitely playing a lot of slot receiver. He's
Right.
actually a pretty big guy. He's 6'3",
Is he that
218.
big? I thought he
Yeah,
was
he's
small. I
pretty
thought he
big.
was under 6 foot.
No, no, he's actually
No.
pretty big, but he
Oh, I'm
played
lying then.
almost small in a sense because that's what usually smaller receivers do. They play the slot, they play inside. You're talking about guys like Antonio Brown, AB, and them.
Yes,
But
that's what I'm
Larry was
thinking
such
about when
a
I think of
great.
Larry Fitzgerald. No kidding. I did not
Yeah, he's
realize he
actually
was six.
bigger. He's bigger body, but he played different. And I remember
Yeah.
him in that Super Bowl versus Pittsburgh. That was a very
Yep.
good Super Bowl. And
Love that
Larry
Super
was one
Bowl.
of the main reasons that Arizona even made it to the Super Bowl. He's baller. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Baller.
Yep. No, if Arizona had won that game, that touchdown he scored in there would have made him the MVP most likely, right?
Oh,
Like that
yeah.
was just
Yeah.
amazing. The other one, I guess, no argument here, but Adam Vinatieri, right? I guess kickers in the Hall of Fame again with the LC Greenwood argument, right? Adam Vinatieri. But if we're gonna put kickers in the Hall of Fame, he's definitely the Hall of Famous, right? He's like the clutchest, most accurate. Like he just is, right? He at one point he had 44 consecutive field goals in a row, right? Total of almost 600 field goals, 599 field goals, 2,673 points, right? Like so, the guy he definitely put some points up there, and think of how many Super Bowls he won for them, right? Like he just was
for the Patriots. He was the guy.
At
He
least
always
two.
every game-winning drive. Brady would just put it in position for Vinatieri, kick it, they win another Super Bowl.
Incredibly accurate.
Massive reason they had a dynasty.
Incredibly accurate. So so hard to argue with him. Of the seniors to get in, and this is again where I'm like, surely to God, like we could clear up this backlog of guys, seniors, because there's a few of them now that like I don't want to diminish the Hall of Fame. It is the most relevant, most difficult Hall of Fame to get into, but that like there's some tragic some tragedies out there that they are not considered to be Hall of Famers, right? And but Roger Craig is one of the guys who was from those 49er greats. He was a proud Nebraska product, so I always knew about Roger Craig and always loved Roger Craig as a 49er because I knew him as a Nebraska Cornhusker first, right? So cool to see him in the Hall of Fame. But Roger Craig is most famous for being a 1,000 guy. He was probably the first 1,000 guy to ever do it, because I think it's only CMC, Marshall Faulk, and him who managed to do 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing in the same season. Right. So, like he did that twice where he had 2,000 yards from scrimmage for the season. But he ran in the time of Eric Dickerson and the like. Right. So nobody and also what's his face? Marcus Allen. Right. So he didn't really stand out, but that was fine by Bill Walsh. He's just like, let those other guys, let everybody put 8 men in the box for those other guys and, leave us alone. Right. So, and he was just absolutely brilliant as a catch receiver. Like he was great set of hands and super fluid after the catch. Right. Like you put the ball in his hands and he'd catch it like a wide receiver and then start running like a running back. Right. And he's another guy. Great Super Bowl winning play one year, right? So, I love me some Roger Craig, man. That guy could run. So he's now where he belongs in the Hall of Fame for sure. And also, like I said, second smallest class in 20 years. What's going on, man?
The question for you, do you think that they wanted to make it smaller on purpose, or because you're right. Usually, the Hall of Fame classes are pretty big, so a lot of guys actually got rejected or they didn't make it.
Yeah.
One of the guys, Eli Manning, Terrell Suggs. I'm a Ravens fan. You know what I mean? Marshall Yanda. A lot of guys got left aside, and they're only letting in a few amount. Do you think that's on purpose? Do you think maybe they have new rules? I don't know.
Well, it's hard to say it's on purpose, right? Because it is a vote, right? It's a blind vote. I just think you got some salty reporters. That's all.
Again, I think that's why Belichick didn't get it. I think obviously the cheating, but he was really harsh with the media, and the media members are the people who vote on this thing. You know what I mean? They have the majority vote. There's some executives, there's some ex-coaches. I think Tony Dungy was one of the voters, but it's mostly writers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's mostly
media, and it's a 75% threshold. So, some people just ain't feeling you. They're not voting for you, whatever. And only 4 people got that 75% threshold. And so that's why they chose only 4 or 5 this year. I should say 5. It is, it isn't like it's not coordinated like that, but that's how it works out. But it makes you really wonder, like, what is going on? How can 75% of sports writers not look at LC Greenwood and say, like, this is a travesty that hasn't been taken care of. Let's do this, right? So, anyways, that's sort of how the Hall of Fame ballots went. But Interesting. We'll
Yeah.
look forward to that one.
Yeah.
Now, the other one you had on your list here was the Pro Bowl. I'm not sure
Yeah.
why. It's an embarrassing spectacle. It's an embarrassing
Thank you.
spectacle
That's
these
why.
days. I don't even know
That's why
why
I
they
put it.
bother. They've turned it into a freaking flag football game. That is embarrassing, right? So, like, I'm sorry. I don't know why they ever got away from the Hawaii format. I don't know whether maybe people weren't showing up, but who cares? Whoever wants the vacation
Right.
should show up, and that's the Pro Bowl, right? Come on, man.
Right.
Like, Pro Bowl used to be fun. In the 80s,
Yeah.
the Pro Bowl was always held in Honolulu, right?
Mhm.
And all the players
Mhm.
wanted, and it was like a week or 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. So it was
Right.
middle of February, like where we are now.
Mhm.
And like it was a holiday, a well-earned holiday and honors for these guys. And of course, nobody really played that super hard. It was a holiday, right? But
Yeah.
still, it was kind of like the NHL All-Star game and the NBA basketball used to be. It used to be a points fest, and everybody loved
Yep.
it. All their favorite
Yep.
skilled players and stuff were out there putting up 48 points, doing all the things that they didn't do during the regular season because the stakes are too
No.
high. So, like, the
Mhm.
80s Pro Bowl was the shiznit, man. Like, that was awesome.
Mhm.
And it was fun to watch, right? Because you're sitting here freezing your nuts off like we are today in your basement, and you're watching all these palm trees. These guys are like hanging out in Hawaii that have all these great video shots of the water and the ocean, the waves, and
Yeah.
you know, it's very like it was like you felt like you were there almost. It's kind of like when you watch the Masters first week of April. It's like it's also
Mm.
beautiful with the azaleas and hibiscus and all that stuff, right?
Right.
So it was a visual spectacle on top of everything else. And I think just after a while, players
Mm.
I think after a while it didn't matter to them as much. I think
Right.
it was that they felt like it was getting like too much of a JV team. Like these weren't really like Pro Bowl All Stars. Like if half the guys don't make the trip to Hawaii, like, and so they started trying to make it part
Yeah.
of the Super Bowl. They tried to put it in the week before the
Mhm.
Super Bowl to fill, which seems like a natural thing, right? But what if you're playing in
Yeah.
the Super Bowl? Like chances are that out on the two squads that are in the Super Bowl, like I bet you
Yeah.
there's half a dozen
Look,
players that would be playing in that game.
the Seahawks.
Should be playing in
Look how
that
many
game.
Seahawks. Look how many Seahawks are Pro Bowlers. You know,
Six.
there's a lot of Patriots who are Pro Bowlers, right?
So
They're not
you
gonna
can
play in the
imagine
game.
how. So
And
you can
then
imagine
now,
how that.
you know, yeah,
You
and
can
then
imagine how
now,
that didn't work out,
yeah,
right? So
exactly. Now you have a guy. You know what? I'm a fan of this guy, but I don't like it. You have Shador Sanders as a Pro Bowler. He had a horrible season, guys. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
that's
He
just
did
yeah,
not have
like
a good season. What are we doing, guys? We're
yeah,
not rewarding the guys who actually played well, or the guys who actually did play well. They're not coming.
yeah,
They
yeah,
just take it off. They just
yeah.
leave.
So
You know, so I
yeah,
don't like that. You know what I mean? I
so
don't like that.
yeah. Like if you're gonna do a Pro Bowl, like to really make the Pro Bowl viable, you've got to get some sign-in from players. Like you really got to get a
Yeah,
commitment from players, whether in their contract, whatever, that says that if nominated, I will go sign. Right,
thank you.
initial here. Yeah,
Right.
and now of course, then the game is like, okay, what injury can I fake, right? and but at least
Yeah,
though the culture though is contained in the contracts. If nominated for the Pro Bowl, I will go initial here, right? So like that's what I
yeah.
think needs to happen if you're going to make the Pro Bowl viable and take it back to Hawaii. That was awesome.
And you know
um,
what? Think about it like this: who loses out? The fans, us, the fans. We didn't
that's
come
right.
here to watch flag football. We want football players to do what? Play football.
That was embarrassing. And even if that Pro Bowl was accused of being like flag football, it
Yeah,
still was not. Okay.
there you
Um,
go.
So the next topic we're looking at here is speaking of
Yes,
institutions in crisis, the
yes.
Rooney Rule is basically in crisis, and it
Mm,
really upsets me. It
me
really
too.
bothers me. Um,
Me
Now
too.
Brian Clark had an interesting take on this. He says
Mm,
it's nepotism and not racism. Because what we're talking about here is, I know that's what I said too. Because what we're
yeah,
talking about here are the 10 head coaching. I think it was a
vacancies.
record. I think it was a record. Like we're talking about a turnover
It
of
was one of the biggest.
30%.
Yeah, it was huge. I
Turnover of
think we did even actually
30%.
talk about it. It was a huge thing. It was a huge thing. Yeah, it was a huge 10 vacancies, man. You never see that. Yeah.
Not one African American head coach hired. right? And
Crazy.
so we're kind of going backwards because right now there are currently 3 African American coaches in the NFL right now. In 2002, the year before the Rooney Rule was implemented, there were 2. So we're
Really?
barely like 20
Wow.
years of
And we're
20 years of
wow.
progress, and I don't see it. Now, there have been
Mm.
highlights. There was, I think it was 2015, there was something like 7 black head
Oh,
coaches in the so there have been highlights. So clearly what is happening is that there's some backsliding going on this. In the same way, like a rule is only a rule if it's enforced, right?
yes.
And if it matters if it's enforced. And if it's not enforced, well, we're seeing the same issues with the United States Constitution, right? Oh, they
Mm.
can't do that. A dog can't dunk a basketball, right? A dog can't play basketball as he continues to dunk on you, right? Like, so
Mhm.
this is the same analogy, right? With the U.S. Constitution right now, if you're not going to enforce it strictly, if you're not going to hold people's feet to the fire immediately and aggressively every time they violate a constitutional amendment, right? Right now, the Fourth Amendment is being violated. The First Amendment is being violated. The Second Amendment's being violated, right? They disarmed that man they shot before they shot him. They disarmed him. He was a licensed gun carrier and he had it in a
Yeah.
holster, right? So, like, are we
Even
just,
the NRA, even the NRA was going against Trump for it. I'm like,
of
good for
course,
them,
right?
standing up, because this is the Second Amendment right that Americans have. You have the right to
So
bear
my
arms.
whole
You know what
point is that like an
I mean?
amendment not enforced strictly doesn't
Yeah.
exist, right? The Constitution is
But
just a piece of paper, and the Rooney Rule is just a piece of paper. It's just an idea. If you're not fining these teams, and these teams are worth billions and billions of dollars, if you're not fining them like big fines, but causing them to lose draft picks, that's probably the only fine that matters,
yeah,
for not following the edicts of the Rooney Rule, then like that the Rooney Rule is going to be ignored. And that is what happened this time around. 10 coaching positions and like no hires. And
yeah,
a lot of people also say that, oh, well, it's really just a product of the offensive coordinator position. Most coaches nowadays come from the offensive coordinator position, right? Well, how come there aren't any black guys in the offensive coordinator position, right? Like, let me give you,
that's something that I wanted to mention. Thank you, Unc, for
right?
saying that. If you look at
So
it in the NFL, there's no
the
black
pipeline
coordinator,
is
offensive coordinator.
empty.
I think Eric Bieniemy is the only one, and Eric Bieniemy is not necessarily calling the offense. That's the coach.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Eric Reed, right?
Yeah.
He's not really calling offenses. So is it people not getting hired and put in position? Again, I have a theory about this, and my theory is this: a little bit of what Ryan is saying, but also racism too. Because guess what? Who
I'll
ultimately
explain it.
hires the
Yep.
people? It's the owner. Who is the owner? A
Yeah.
70-year-old white
White guy.
billionaire. Are you going to tell a 70-year-old white billionaire what to do? You're going to tell
Mhm.
Jerry Jones to hire a black guy when he's richer than anything you know?
Yeah.
So
Because
ultimately, these owners, they copy each other.
yeah.
Example, and I'm going to let you go after this.
Yeah.
Look at Sean McVay. A ton of people got hired under Sean McVay, right? Or at least his coaching staff. But Sean McVay is the one who actually calls the plays, who has the magic. So
Mhm.
these owners copycat each other. And now you have this guy like Mike LaFleur, Matt LaFleur, who's coaching the Raiders. No real experience. He's just close to Sean McVay, and his brother is coaching the Packers. So it
Yeah.
is some racism, but it's also a lot of nepotism, cronyism. And that's why I wanted to add
Well,
this topic in,
let
because this matters to our conversation. You know
well,
what I mean?
yeah, because this is ridiculous, right? And it
That's
is the
ridiculous.
offensive coordinator pipeline, and
Mhm.
all 18 offensive coordinators hired since 2024, all white people, right? So
Mm. There
right?
we go.
So that is like that pipeline is bereft. And you say
Mhm.
what people are throwing up their hands now, like, well, what do you want to do? Like people have to hire who they want. But this is where the bigotry and the racism comes in, right?
Right, right.
Don't none of these people don't they have any black friends? Right? You can tell me that like everybody they
That's
know
what
in
I'm saying.
coaching, everybody they know in coaching, like
It's just
if
a white
everybody
dude.
you know in coaching is white, What the fuck is like? What is wrong with you? You don't say hi to people in the locker room, right? When you played the game, what you didn't talk
Right.
to the 70% of the rest of the league who were black? Like,
It's
no.
70% of the league is black. So that's why it's a bit
Okay.
weird. It's a little
So
awkward. I don't
it
know.
is
Right?
extremely weird that there are
Yeah.
not more, black coaches in the pipeline, right? And so, and this is where my problem comes in, right? Is that certainly the climate in America, the way it is right now, there are so many people just crawling out of the woodwork, saying really bold things like, well, the guy should be able to hire who he wants to hire. Or, well, listen, like merit is everything. If they're hiring these guys, they must have the most merit. Like they should just hire the best guy, period, right? And so therefore the assumption is, and we're right back to the black quarterback shit 50 years ago.
There we
Oh,
go.
well, he
Thank
must
you.
be he must be the best guy for the job because he's the guy who got hired. Right? This is a competitive environment. Everybody wants to win. If they could have an advantage by hiring black coaches, they would do it. No, it's not true. Right? That is not true. And this is where we get back to what you were talking about is like the owner likes to relate to his GM. The GM likes to relate to his coach. The coach has to then relate to his players. But how is it that the whole thing breaks down and that like a head coach can relate? A head coach can relate to like 40 of these 60 players, no problem, right? Back slap, go to their house, go to their barbecue, right? Love each other, support each other. How is it that all breaks down once we get into the coaching ranks? How is it that you can play NFL football with all these guys and none of them are close enough to you to enter your coaching tree? That's where the racism comes in. That's where the bigotry is. Right?
That's definitely it,
Give me
man.
a break, man.
I don't like it. I don't respect it. My thing is, I was really excited I was putting these people up while you were talking. Anthony Weaver, DC for Miami Dolphins. Now he's the DC for the Baltimore Ravens. He had multiple interviews, right? I was expecting him to get hired by Baltimore or maybe Cleveland. Didn't pan out. Another guy, Vance Joseph. He used to coach the Broncos. Now he's coaching their defense. And the Broncos defense, like we talked about, was amazing all season. Multiple interviews, not hired. Another guy, Nathan Schussel. I'm messing up his name. He's with the Rams. I think he's a QB coach, right? He had multiple interviews with the Raiders, Arizona. Nothing came of it. Brian Flores.
Yep.
So you're seeing a pattern here.
Well, we know it's
get an interview, but they don't get hired. They're doing a show trial.
Yeah.
They're doing a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and that is what's happening. That's what's happening is people are just doing the bare minimum that they have to instead of embracing the opportunity to interview more people. And this is where I get so frustrated with people. It's like, why are you looking at this as a burden instead of an opportunity?
Bingo.
Right? This is an opportunity to diversify your coaching ranks, this is an opportunity it gives you an excuse to hire people that, if the nepotism is so deep and people are looking at you sideways in the organization, why would you hire this guy when, this guy over here that we know and love is, well, just because he interviewed better. What can I tell you? I just had a feeling, right? I didn't expect to hire this guy, but man, he had a great interview, right? That's what happens in a normal job environment, right?
No,
I was just going to say,
you know what? It's a society, but football is a microcosm of society.
It is. It's like any other job environment. It's like any other job environment. And you see what is happening in the American job environment right now. And so people are basically falling out of spirit of the Rooney Rule. Treating it like it's just something they don't really need to bother with, right? And we're seeing a lot of that happening within institutions in America right now. And the bigotry and the racism comes in by viewing it as a burden rather than an opportunity. And so, yes, I'm super disappointed in this coach. I could not believe it when it came out. Like,
I want to wrap this up in a positive sense, though, because there's one team that actually is doing it really right, and that team is the San Francisco 49ers. So I don't know if you knew this, but if a team develops a minority coach, right, and gets them to actually get hired by another team, they get, I think, some kind of draft compensation. So it's like a little thing to encourage teams to develop black or minority coaches into full-fledged coaches. And
Well,
then the Niners do this a lot. They did it with Robert Saleh. They did it with Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel looks white as hell, but he's half
I
black,
know.
allegedly.
Yeah,
You know what I
he
mean?
says he's biracial.
There you go, biracial. They did this, I think, with Raheem Morris, and now Raheem Morris is back to being their DC. They did this with what's his face, D'Amico Ryans. So the
Mhm.
Niners are gaming the system in a positive way to hire
Yes.
more minority coaches and get them into coaching positions. So there's one team that shows you a way, and they get draft compensation. So they're double winning. That's the way I
And
think a lot of teams should
okay,
think
and
about
this is what really bothers me. With
it.
incentives like that,
Yeah,
like I cannot fathom
crazy.
why every single franchise isn't in a mad rush to get extra draft picks every couple 3 years, right? Like you
Right?
think that, right? Like, well, what the heck,
Yeah.
man? Let's just do it anyways. Because what if we hit the lottery now and again every couple 3 years, right? We always have a few of these
Right.
guys on staff, right? We're training them, we're working with them. Who knows? Maybe one of them will be our head coach. But if not, we'll
Yeah.
send them to another team and we'll get draft picks, right? Like the fact that these
Right.
billionaires are not looking at that and every single one of them doing it, trying to outdo each other in that regard, shows you how they really feel. There is no amount of money you could give those guys to.
There you
You see what
go,
I'm
man.
saying?
And then think about it. Just to think about it. Just to wrap this
And
up.
that's usually how racism works. Is these
That's
people are
true.
so stubborn and hard-headed that there is no amount of money you could give them to abandon their principle.
It's racism is dumb, man. It's just dumb tactic. It's
It's a
dumb
mental
mindset.
defect,
Think
in my
about it like this.
opinion.
Think about it like this, man. All these teams with coaching vacancies, haven't we noticed they've always had issues? The Cardinals, the Raiders. You know what I'm talking about? You're talking about all these Tennessee Titans, all these teams that have issues, like from top to bottom. So it's not the good organizations changing
Well,
coaches every 5
and
seconds.
and
Miami
again to
Dolphins.
Ryan Clark, it's kind of him
Yeah.
to frame it as nepotism, to give them an out like that. And technically, he's correct, because it's not it's not what you know, it's who you know. Like again, like every other workplace out there, but it gets to ridiculous levels, right? Like. Like it really is. Like I've noticed, we've talked about it several times over the last 4 years about retreads, right? Like, and I don't get it, right? But the fact is that it's a club,
Right.
and very few people can say like once you've coached in the NFL, like that's it. Your foot's in the door. You can now say, well, he's just one of a very few number of NFL coaches who know NFL coaching, who know NFL culture, and we're only going to choose from guys who. And it didn't used to be like that. Like the hot college coach would always creep his way up in there sooner or later, right? Like I'm just not seeing it the way I'm not seeing the same effort. I'm seeing people mailing in the effort where it comes to the Rooney Rule in a way they have not. But it's the times. Look at the times.
I think it just needs to be adjusted, or maybe even abolished for something else.
Incentivized.
The spirit of it is not coming out. It's like people are just interviewing these coaches just to make an interference. And one last thing, I kept on saying one last thing a few times, but I want to say this. This is the most insulting part of this whole process. This guy was interviewed for a coaching position. I think you might know where I'm going. This guy, Mr. Philip Rivers, the guy who came off his couch for that insurance deal, got an interview from the Buffalo Bills.
This is
How
like the
insulting is that?
worst example.
All the black assistants, the black coaches out there, for Philip effing Rivers, a high school football coach, to get an interview. Come on, bro.
To go on from coaching high school, and sure, you're a coach on the field when you're an experienced quarterback like he is, but give me a break, man. If sure, go ahead, hire him as a coach. I think that's a good idea. As a quarterback's coach,
yes,
start there, right? Because that is like a face palm to the entire African American football coaching community when Philip Rivers is seriously considered a candidate. And it was a good thing that they didn't hire him and eventually did hire Brady instead, right? Because can you imagine Brady? This mother, are you shitting me? I babysat Josh Allen for 4 years and got him out of, and I don't get to be head coach, right? Like that's how wacky this is, right? And so that's to Ryan Smith's Clark's argument about the nepotism, right?
There you go.
Philip Rivers is,
In
he's
that
an
sense, he's
NFL
right.
guy, right?
Yeah, in that sense, he's right about that. So you know what? One step at a time. At least we're calling it out, which I think it helps to lead to a
Yeah,
solution. So we're
sure,
doing
man.
something right.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about it though. Let's talk about the main reason we're here.
Super Bowl.
Let's
Looking at
go.
my Gucci, it's about that time.
Unc, what is your breakdown? I'm actually excited to hear your breakdown. I'll tell you mine right after. What do
Yeah.
you think, brother?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Super Bowl 60, buddy. Here we go, right? So basically, I've got it divided into two here, like Seattle and the Pats. Sort of, what are their keys to victory? What are they going to need to do? Look at you, buddy. You just all feverish, huh? You really are sick,
Yeah,
man.
man. I'm going through it, man. I'm going
Let's
through it.
give
I'm
it up.
sneezing.
Let's
I'm
give it up to
trying,
my
bro.
nephew here, man. He hauled himself out of bed for the people on the Super Bowl day. Man needs a Saint Bernard and some Neocitrin shit. But he's out here.
Real
He's
talk.
out here in these streets helping us out here today, despite being sick as a dog.
I
Poor
love
man.
the people, man. I love the people. I love Unc. I have to do it for us, man. It was no
Yeah,
way
man.
I'm missing the end of season 4. No way I'm missing our Super Bowl show. Hell to the no. Power through. Let's go.
My man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So Seattle, obviously, key to their game is defense, right? They've done a fantastic job this season. Best defense in the league by far, as far as I'm concerned. And another factor is going to be their special teams. I think Rashid Shaheed is shows out today. How many times has this happened in Super Bowls where like a special teams player just like rocks it? So I'm looking at Shaheed today for them. Now, the other big thing for Seattle is going to be Kenny Walker III as a running back.
Sir.
Like his ability to get scat to the outside is very good, and he's also a fantastic ball catcher. Like he's catching balls 20 yards downfield in some instances.
I'll be right back, Unc.
Yeah, man. And so, in addition to Kenny Walker III, the other big player here today for Seattle is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba. JSN is going to be a huge part of this game. And in fact, one of the key matchups in this game is going to be Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback safety for in the defensive backfield for the Pats, is going to be most likely going to be shadowing Gonzalez today. So if that's the case, he's got his work cut out for him. If they decide to just split the field and play at cover 2, then it'll go back and forth between the corners. But Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be a vital element of the Seattle Seahawks team today. So look out for that. Sam Darnold. What about Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold actually needs to do as little as possible today because they're like, I just don't think he needs to, right? I think between their special teams, their defense, between some passes to JSN and Kenny Walker III, man, like I think that's gonna be enough that Darnold does not have to throw the ball 40 plus times. Thank goodness, right? So if he can, I
want to actually, here's something ironic I wanted to mention. The key for the Patriots winning is Sam Darnold doing too much. Because when Sam Darnold does too much,
that's right.
He led the league in turnovers for quarterbacks. I don't know if people remember that. Interceptions, fumbles, and all these. He led the league, even though he had a great season. So
his season was a tale of 2 seasons, though. He was a tale of 2 seasons. The first 10 weeks, he was like an all-star.
Yeah.
And it's only just in the playoffs that he sort of regained his form. So which guy shows up today, right? That's why I'm saying Darnold needs to do as little as possible.
It's a great point.
So yeah, so we got to figure out which Sam Darnold shows up today. I have a feeling he's going to make his bones today. I really do. I think he's going to play probably mistake-free football. Probably go 21 for 25 or some number like that, or 16 for 20, or I have a feeling he plays very efficient today. Oh, something I've been meaning to say all year long. Was there ever a man on this planet that absolutely needed to grow a beard more than Sam Darnold? Have you ever seen any pictures of him? Look at that Jets picture right there. Like without a beard,
so bad.
he looks like he's 12 years old. Like, and he don't look right. he don't look
Yeah,
right.
I
Like
know.
he got a square
Mm-mm.
top of his head or something. At least the beard squares off the rest of his head, right? Like
Right, right.
I've never seen a
I get
guy
you.
who needed a beard more than Sam Darnold. Take the guy
Wow.
seriously. Anyways, so yeah, so Sam Darnold just needs to play game manager today, if at all possible. If he needs to go aerial, good luck. He's capable of it, but he's also capable of turning it over. So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
For the Pats, I think the Pats need extra possessions today. So they need special
Oh,
plays or they need turnovers. They're going to need extra possessions. So the Pats special teams needs to cause some turnovers. I don't know if they get that today or not.
mm,
The other one is that Ramondre Stevenson and Henderson need to pound
yeah.
that rock with Drake May. I think for the Pats to win, Drake May has to run for 50 yards. Like it
Oh
has to be
yeah,
a game.
he probably will have to run for more because here's something that people don't talk about often. He is a good scrambler, man. He's a dual threat
He's an
quarterback,
excellent
100%.
runner.
He's not like a Lamar Jackson where he's gonna run off 20, 30 yards for a touchdown and just
No, but he's
but he's gonna get a first down though, which is
very much
huge
like
to
Bo
keep possession
Nix,
alive. Yeah, which is
or
good.
Steve Young, right? Like
Yes,
he's
yes.
like
He's
so
very athletic. Very
if
athletic.
he
Yeah.
doesn't run for 50 today, that
Right.
means that the Seattle pass rush is containing him, and that's not a good thing. So if we see 50 plus yards, that means that he's busting out of containment. It means that he's probably getting third downs, fourth downs, even stuff like that, right? So if we don't see a good running stat line today from Drake May, chances are it's lights out. Because Stevenson and Henderson only average about 3.8 to 4 yards per carry, but they are effective. And that's going to be the key to the Pats today is possession, possession, possession. So they're going to need to run the ball for them to get that done. Now, the other one, like I said earlier, the X factor for me for the Pats is all Vrabel, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm convinced he has magic. So if the Pats
Mm.
win today, he's going to need to inspire, his guys, right? And inspire
Right.
guys like Will Campbell and Jared Wilson, for example, left tackle and
Oh,
left guard,
so bad.
respectively, right? They
So
need to
bad.
play big, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
yeah, and again, like we mentioned too, Gonzalez, right? If Gonzalez is going to shadow JSN or not sure how they're going to
right.
play that. So that's going to be a key matchup, Gonzalez and JSN. The other one is Marcus Jones, the other cornerback for Seattle, or pardon me, for the Pats. Is he going to be able to cover Cooper Kupp? Like, don't be surprised if
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp shows out
Thank
today.
you.
Yeah, no one looking for
Don't be
him, but
surprised by Cooper Cup is didn't he win an MVP? I think he won Super Bowl MVP with that
in
year that the
previous
Rams
years,
won. So Cooper Cup, he shows up in big time games. He showed up in that Rams game. He got that first down to
he's
secure
a
that win.
veteran
So
presence,
Cooper Cup
and
will be a huge
guys
start.
like this just tend to have
Right.
really great games in the Super Bowl sometimes. So
Oh yeah.
definitely, like think of how grateful Cooper Kupp probably feels to be back in the Super Bowl,
Oh
right?
yes. Oh yes. He went
Because
back
he's one of these
before us
guys
also.
who probably thought he'd be back, 3 times in the next 5 years,
Right.
right? It don't work like that. Ask Dan Marino. Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl in his second season, had tossed for over 5,000 yards, all that stuff, breaking all his records, right? Got his ass whooped and never went again.
Man, that's why for me, I really think this is huge for Drake May. And
Yep.
I'm not saying I'm cheering for him, but I hope he does well because like you said, some people only go once. Most people are not Patrick Mahomes. They're not Tom Brady.
More than
They're not
anything, I
going
want a
every
great game. Yeah, I
you
want
know
a
what I'm
great
saying?
game.
Yeah.
And so I'll make it quick here, man. The point spread's 4.5. I'm very tempted to take the Pats to cover, but I don't think so, man. I just feel like this is like an 80s, early 90s era we're back in, where the NFC, like I believe the Super Bowl was 2 weeks ago, right? At the NFC Conference Championship game, right? We talked about
Come
that.
on.
And I also just kind of feel like the NFC is just outclassing the AFC right now. And that's why I'm saying, like, the key to the Pats is probably Vrabel and May. Like, something magical has to happen today for them to beat Seattle. I just think Seattle is better in every aspect of the ball game. And I think that they've had to do more to get here. right? And I have a feeling that it's going to be a blowout. I think like 27-17 or some, like, I think it wouldn't shock me to see Seattle get into 40 points today, right? Like, it's only a question of
Yeah,
how many are the Pats going to score, right? So I have a
yeah,
feeling
yeah.
we're in for one of these blowouts that we sometimes get when we get these disparities between the two conferences. But I hope
Right.
not. I hope the Pats cover and Seattle wins, because that's my official pick.
I'm saying like this, man. For me, at least my analysis of the game, the key to the game for Seattle winning is going to be Cooper Cup, at least from what I'm thinking about. Because Gonzalez, I think he's going to clamp down JSN. Gonzalez is an amazing corner.
Right, which would
Him and
make
PS,
Cooper. Yeah.
yeah, which make Cooper viable. But also, I think Kenneth Walker III is going to be massive in this game because
Yeah,
this Pats defense is not experienced a running back of his quality
that's right.
anytime in this playoff. So they're going to struggle. The way the Pats have to win, defense, brother, defense. They have to get
Yes.
turnovers. Get
Yes. Well,
turnovers. They have to
and
get a lot of turnovers or at least force a critical turnover in order for them to change the momentum. Because you're right. This could get ugly very fast. Remember the Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl last year? They got, I think, like one interception on Mahomes, and maybe in the second quarter, or maybe the end of the first, and it was basically done. The game was over
yeah,
because
because
the
weather
Eagles.
is not going to be a factor this time around, Mr.
There
Patriot.
you go. You know what I mean? They're in
Two out
San
of three of the
Francisco.
two out of three of the
Yeah.
playoff games were like it's
Yeah, they were like,
ridiculous.
you know what I'm saying? The Pats needed a freaking blizzard to show up for
Twice
them to pass. Yes, actually, yeah, twice because that happened for Houston too.
in New
They
England
needed
too.
they needed Bo Nix to literally break his ankle for them to make the Super Bowl. So
Right. So
I'm sorry, man. I'm not,
yeah,
like I said, I'm gonna agree with you. I
I
got
just
the
think
Seattle
I
Seahawks
think
winning. I think it could be
destiny
a
is on
blowout territory,
Seattle's
but I
side
think not.
today.
I hope it's not a blowout. I want to actually enjoy a tight game, close game.
Yeah, me
And
too. I hate
there's only
blowouts in the Super Bowl.
oh
Fucking
man,
hate them.
fuck, bro. But I will say this, like another thing that I said earlier that I'm pretty much sticking to. Another key for the Pats winning is Darnold doing too much. Like you said,
Yep.
Darnold, as great as he's been, this playoff run, the real Sam Darnold, or maybe the original Sam Darnold is this guy without the beard.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So this guy, if this guy comes out,
Bald
the
face
seeing
Sam
ghost guy,
Darnold.
I'm telling you,
Eh,
and you know what? Let me tell you this: the Pats defense, they're not getting a lot of love and respect, but they can ball, man. They can
They
do
can play. They
so.
can play because remember, it's a Vrabel
Yeah.
team, right? So who
Yes,
knows,
sir.
man? Ginger Cuz might be in for a rough afternoon.
Hey, Ginger Cuz might definitely be
Greatest
in
nickname
for some
ever.
cinnamon.
Greatest
Hey,
nickname
man,
for a quarterback ever. Ginger Cuz. And Marshawn Lynch,
that's
man. Did you hear the
hilarious.
story about how that came up, right? Because he
Nah,
was
I
sitting
never
there
heard of
talking
it.
about all these players, brothers, brothers, brothers. And he's
Yeah,
looking at
yeah,
the
yeah.
picture, and he's looking at the picture, and he's like, "Hey, Ginger Cuz." Marshawn Lynch is the
Man, I
funniest
love
fucking
Marshawn,
reporter.
man. That's my
Marshawn
dog.
Lynch is the funniest sideline reporter
Oh
ever.
man,
He needs a bigger
man.
platform. That man just makes people laugh.
And I will say this, man. How poetic would it be that the last time Marshawn was in a Super Bowl was against the Pats and they didn't give him the ball. But hey, man, I think Seattle's gonna
To
ball and
this
they're gonna get
day,
they
one of the
better
most
they
tragic
better
Super
feed
Bowl endings
Kenneth.
ever with the Marshawn.
You know what
You
I'm
got
saying?
Marshawn Lynch on the 2 yard line. How are you
On
not
the
going
who?
right up the middle? Right? Like,
Up the middle, man. This guy, you know what I'm saying? Beast mode. Hey
Yeah, man.
man, let's see if the Seattle Seahawks get their revenge against the Pats today. Man, thank you
Yeah,
so much
that's
to
right.
all of y'all supporting us throughout all these 4 seasons. And specifically, big thanks for Unc for leading the show because I even had to take bathroom breaks, man. That's how your boy is struggling out here, man. So
Yeah, man.
again, this is our big thank you. This is the last episode of season 4. I anticipate there'll be season 5. I don't know how
Yes,
Unc is
sir.
doing.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna be a
Make sure
little
y'all
more
come
helpful
back for
with
season 5. That's
that.
our first. Yeah, that's our first threshold, right? You got the first
Yes,
season, then
sir.
5, then 10, 15, 20.
Hey,
Yeah,
sir.
buddy. I don't see any reason to stop, buddy. I love doing these with you, and I love the
Oh
people
man.
then when they watch, right? So, yeah, man.
Yes,
One
sir.
love to everybody. Thank you for tuning in this season. Enjoy your Super Bowl. It's going to be so much fun today. And I hope we get a
Yes.
great game.
I hope we get a great game too. I think you gave your score. I'll give my score. I'm saying 34, 20 something.
Yeah. Two
Yeah.
touchdowns. Easy. I'm
So it's
thinking.
gonna be a light blowout, but I think very soon we'll realize which team is running the thing. By the way, shout out to Rosemary Boateng, I think, that came in the chat. Shout out to you for
The
sharing.
African.
Appreciate you. You know what I mean? Appreciate us, man. Appreciate y'all for watching the replay. Hey, man, let's have a great game, man. Season 4, we out. You know what I
All
mean?
right. Peace.
Doses.